Welcome back to Left Labor Education for today, and thanks for joining for the 5th edition of our weekly recap. In our first story of the week, President Biden added to the recent momentum of labor activity in the U.S. by meeting with union organizers at the White House earlier this week. On July 17th, President Biden met with union organizers alongside the notoriously pro-union Senator Bernie Sanders, saying, "Today, Senator Sanders and I met with young worker leaders to discuss their fight for better pay and benefits. They are building the economy of the future." On multiple occasions now, President Biden has referred to himself as the most pro-union president in American history. And that was reiterated again this week by the White House press secretary.
This is a president, as you've heard us say over and over again, that is the most pro-union president in history.
This week, Biden capitalized on the opportunity to reiterate his position on organized labor in America, including the importance of growing union membership across the country in order to grow the economy from the middle out and from the bottom up. And although this meeting was with representatives from newer wave unions, like those representing Starbucks, Sega, and even minor league baseball, President Biden also met with a more traditional union on Wednesday in the United Auto Workers Union, which takes us to our second story of the week as the United Auto Workers begin negotiations with the Detroit 3 auto manufacturer. As of this week, the UAW have begun collective bargaining negotiations with each of the Detroit 3 auto manufacturers, which includes Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, which is the parent company of brands like Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep. The United Auto Workers are making clear from the beginning that they are looking for much more than a simple renewal of existing contract terms. Instead, they're looking for aggressive improvements to ensure that workers are not seen as an afterthought in the monumental transition to electric vehicle manufacturing. In his opening remarks, UAW President Shawn Fain did not hold back. "As president of our union, I'm here to tell you this is a new day for our members, and we are going in a new direction. Our members, both active and retired, have sacrificed more than their share, and it's time this company rewards their sacrifice with economic justice. We will not stand for the continued lack of respect for our jobs and our future. How this round of bargaining goes will hinge on whether this company is going to treat the workers with the dignity that is long overdue. We do not expect the traditional path of opening bargaining and spending a month and a half talking our demands to death. September 14th is a deadline, not a reference point. So it is in the best interest for this corporation to get down to business with our bargaining committee and get to work to resolve the demands of the membership." So just like with the Teamsters and UPS, the UAW are telegraphing that there will be no contract extensions beyond September 14th. So every day of bargaining between now and then is going to be critical. And in our final story of the week, Dollar General is in the news as a labor board judge finds the company to be culpable of multiple unfair labor practices out of one of its Connecticut stores. On July 17th, National Labor Relations Board Judge Arthur Amchan ruled that Dollar General committed multiple violations of the National Labor Relations Act. And you may recognize Amchan's name from a story we did a couple weeks ago on that Apple store in New York City, which was a very similar case in which Amchan also ruled that Apple violated the National Labor Relations Act. This dispute began back in September 2021 when the United Food and Commercial Workers filed a petition to represent Dollar General employees at one of its stores in Barkhamsted, Connecticut. From there, Judge Amchan contends that high-ranking officials from Dollar General corporate headquarters visited the store in Connecticut, and while they were there, surveilled union activity, solicited grievances, and made multiple promises and threats in violation of the National Labor Relations Act. And among the most concerning violations, according to Amchan, were the firing of a pro-union supporter 2 weeks before the union election date, as well as implied threats that the company would close the store if employees were to vote in favor of union representation. And as part of Amchan's order of remedy, Dollar General is required to reinstate the fired employee with back pay, as well as post notices across its stores, as well as electronically, notifying employees about their violations of the act. However, just like in the Apple story that I referenced regarding the World Trade Center New York City store, employees at the Dollar General store in Barkhamsted, Connecticut also voted against union representation in the NLRB sanctioned union election. And in a statement released by representatives from Dollar General, they say, in 2021, our Barkhamsted employees voted against union representation and in favor of working directly with the company. At no time during this election did Dollar General violate the NLRA. We believe the ALJ's decision misapplies the law and ignores, and in some instances incorrectly states, the facts of this case. And along with that statement, Dollar General has expressed its intent to appeal the decision. And so with that, another week is in the books. Thanks for checking back in with labor education for today, and I'll see you next week.